Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Steelers' 2023 offense managed one-feat killer B teams never pulled off. That the Pittsburgh Steelers managed to have all-pro talents at the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver position at the same time for a period of years and failed to win a Super Bowl is one of the greatest disappointments in franchise history. That would be the Killer BS era that ran from 2013 when RB Le'Veon Bell was drafted through 2017, his final year with the team. Wr Antonio Brown only started to become a killer in 2012, or at least that's when he became a full-time starter. Of course, QB Ben Roethlisberger had been around since 2004. He already had 2 Super Bowl titles before they were in the league. That would be the Killer BS era that ran from 2013 when RB Le'Veon Bell was drafted through 2017, his final year with the team. Wr Antonio Brown only started to become a killer in 2012, or at least that's when he became a full-time starter. Of course, QB Ben Roethlisberger had been around since 2004. He already had 2 Super Bowl titles before they were in the league. More than that, it was the 7th time in franchise history that the Steelers had 3 players hit the 4-digit mark. The last time was just as the Killer BS era ended. In 2018, Brown, Smith-Schuster, and RB James Conner all managed to reach 1,000 yards from scrimmage. The last time in franchise history preceding that was just before the Killer BS era. RB Rashard Mendenhall, Wr Mike Wallace, and Brown all totaled at least 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 2011. It was Mendenhall with Wr Hines Ward and Wr Santonio Holmes in 2009 before them. Outside of the 1985 season with Abercrombie, Pollard, and Wr Lewis Lips in 1985, the only other occurrences were near the turn of the millennium. Both Ward and Wr Plaxico Burress topped 1,000 yards in 2001 and 2002. In the first year, RB Jerome Bettis joined them. In the second, it was RB Amos Saru. Warren ended the season with 1,154 yards from scrimmage, picking up 50 in the finale. He rushed for 784 yards on the year with 370 receiving yards. As for Pickens, he didn't catch a pass in the finale, though he had a 3-yard rush. He ended the season with 1,158 yards from scrimmage, including 1,140 receiving yards and 18 rushing yards. One can only hope that this bodes well for the future. The Steelers do have productive skill position players, all of whom will be returning in 2024. They also have Wr Deontay Johnson, who has a 1,214-yard season under his belt. He only finished with 717 yards this past season, but he also missed 4.5 games. Perhaps if he had played the full season, the Steelers would have had 4 players top 1,000 yards from scrimmage. That has only been done 6 times in NFL history, including by the 2023 San Francisco 49ers. This season, CB Christian McCaffrey, Wr Deebo Samuel, Wr Brandon Ayuk, and Te George Kittle all hit the mark. Steelers salary cap, 2 easy moves to create space. The Pittsburgh Steelers have to make some moves this offseason to try and get themselves under the estimated salary cap ceiling of $242.5 million. Currently, they sit $15.149 million over the cap, but with 2 quick moves, they could find themselves beneath it with plenty of options to add more money this offseason. The Steelers' easiest way to create the $15.149 million in cap space is by releasing wide receiver Allen Robinson and moving on from offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorafor. With the release of Robinson, the Steelers would save $10 million on their books. ESPN recently predicted the team would move on from the veteran wideout, and with a cap hit as high as his, it's likely the best option. Bringing him back on a smaller deal could be on the table, but for now, the easiest way to get yourself below the salary cap is by releasing him. If Okorafor is released or traded before March 18, the Steelers will save $8.75 million in cap space. The former starter is just 26 years old and has 2 seasons of experience as their top right tackle. chances are, they can find a suitor for him via trade, landing them a draft pick while creating cap space. Those two moves get the Steelers $2.1 million under the $242.50 estimated salary cap. From there, the team has plenty of options. If they release quarterback Mitch Trubisky on June 1, they gain $5.25 million. The release of cornerback Patrick Peterson could save them $6.85 million, and safety Keanu Neal would save $2.25 million. Releasing center Mason Cole would save another $4.7 million. Pittsburgh could get into restructuring contracts such as Cam Hayward's and Alex Highsmith's, and if they choose to extend Deontay Johnson, they have the option to space out his $15.8 million cap hit. Nothing comes easy in the NFL, but the Steelers have options to get themselves beneath the cap before free agency begins. From there, they have to figure out how to create enough money to make a choice at quarterback, likely signing Mason Rudolph to a new deal. Decisions will be made across the board, but to start, two moves get them to where they need to be. Former Pitt star shows interest in joining Steelers in 2024. One of the NFL's most reliable veterans, who played his collegiate career at the University of Pittsburgh, is set to become a free agent after the 2023 season, and he's interested in coming back to play for his hometown team. "You never know," Wr. Tyler Boyd said. "I love Coach Mike Tomlin. He's probably one of the realest dudes in the sports business. Obviously, I played at Pitt, and I had a lot of run-ins with him and talked to him just about football. His personality is more like a father figure, it's a great connection." Boyd has played every season of his 8-year career with the Bengals. But his contract is expiring at the end of the season, and Cincinnati may part ways with him with a couple of other big contracts to hand out. Money is already tight after making Joe Burrow the highest-paid quarterback in the league last offseason, and two other playmakers are set to have big paydays as well. W.R.T. Higgins' rookie contract is up while W.R. Jamar Chase is eligible for a contract extension. If the Bengals want to retain either, they'll have to pay up. In a perfect world, Cincinnati would be able to keep all three players. But it looks like at least one of them will not be with the team in 2024, and Boyd seems to be the early odd man out. The Steelers could be the benefactors. They're likely to move on from veteran W.R. Allen Robinson II, who had just 280 yards and 0 touchdowns this season, as they'll save $10 million against the cap. That means Pittsburgh will need a new number 3 WR to pair with Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. The number 55 pick in the 2016 NFL Draft could be that, posting 50-plus catches and 600-plus yards in all but one season of his NFL career. However, if Boyd does opt to stay with the Bengals or go elsewhere this offseason, he still isn't closing the door on returning to Pittsburgh. "Who knows," Boyd added. "Even if I don't go after this year, I could do a 1-year deal at the end of my career and maybe finish up, but who knows?" And you fan, what do you think of the Tyler Boyd situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.